Welcome, I'm Noob Solo, and we're gonna get straight back into it. Kate is ecstatic. But what was he doing at Clayton's? Her curiosity oozes through the phone. I'm in the depths of the stock room trying to keep my voice casual. He was in my area. I think that's one huge coincidence. Anna, you don't think he was there to see you? My heart lurches at the prospect, but it's short lived joy. The dull, disappointing reality is that he was there on business. He was visiting the farming division of WSU. He's funding some research, I muttered. Oh, yes, he's given the department a 2.5 million grant. Wow. How do you know this? Anna, I'm a journalist. I've written a profile on the guy. It's my job to know this. Okay, Carla Bernstein, keep your hair on. So do you want these photos? Of course I do. The question is, who's going to do them and where? We could just ask him where. He says he's staying in the area. You can contact him. I have his cell phone number. Kate gasped. The richest, most elusive, most enigmatic bachelor in Washington State just gave you his cell phone number? Yes. Anna, he likes you. There's no doubt about it. Kate, he's just trying to be nice. But even as I say the words, I know they're not true. Christian Grey doesn't do nice. He does polite, maybe, and a small, quiet voice whispers, perhaps Kate is right. My scalp prickles at the idea that maybe, just maybe, he likes me after all. He did just say that he was glad Kate didn't do the interview. I hugged myself with quite glee, rocking from side to side, entertaining the possibility that he might like me. Kate brings me back to the now. I don't know who will get to do the shoot. Levi or regular photographer can't. He's home in Idaho for the weekend. He'll be pissed that he blew an opportunity to photograph one of America's leading entrepreneurs. What about Jose? Great idea. You ask him, he'll do anything for you. Then call Gray and find out where he wants us. Kate is interested in the cavalier about Jose. I think you should just call him. Who, Jose? Kate scoffed. No, Gray. Anna, you're the one with the relationship. Relationship? I squeaked at her, my voice rising several octaves. I barely know the guy. At least you met him, she said bitterly. And it looks like he wants to get to know you better. Anna, just call him. She snaps and hangs up. She's so bossy sometimes. I frown at myself sticking my tongue out at it. I'm just leaving a message for Jose when Paul enters the stockroom looking for sandpaper. We're all kinds of busy out there, Anna, he says. Yeah, I'm sorry, I muttered, turning to leave. So how comes you know Christian Grey? Paul's voice is unconceivably nonchalant. I had to interview him for the student newspapers. Kate wasn't well. I shrugged, trying to sound casual and doing no better than him. Christian Grey and Clayton's. Go figure. Paul snorted, amazed. He shakes his head as if to clear it. Anyway, want to go grab a drink or something this evening? Whenever he's home, he asks me out on a date, and I always say no. It's a ritual. I I never considered it to be a good idea to date the boss's brothers. And beside Paul, he's cute in a wholesome all-American boy next door kind of way. But he's no literal hero. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Is Gray? My subconscious asked me, her eyebrows figuratively raised, and I slap her down. Don't you have a family dinner or something for your brother? That's tomorrow. Maybe some other time, Paul. I need to study tonight. I have finals next week. And on one of these days you'll say yes. He smiles, and I escape to the store floor. But I do places, Anna, not people. Jose groans. Jose, please, I beg. I pace the living room of our apartment, clutching my cell and staring out the window at a fading evening light. Give me that phone. Kate grabs the handset from me, tossing her silken reddish brown hair over her shoulder. Listen here, Jose Rodriguez. If you want our newspaper to cover the evening of your show, you do this shoot for us tomorrow. Capiche? Kate can be awesomely tough. Good. Anna will call back with the location and call time. We'll see you tomorrow. She snaps the cell phone off, and she said it's sorted. All we needed to do now is decide where and when. Call him. She holds out the phone to me. My stomach twists. Call Gray now. I scowl at her and reach into my back pocket for his business card. I take a deep, steadying breath with shaking fingers, and I dial the number. He answers on the second ring. His tone is clipped and calm and cold. Gray, Mr. Gray, it's Anastasia Steele. I don't recognize my own voice. I'm so nervous. There was a brief pause inside. I'm quaking. Miss Steele, how nice to hear from you. His voice has changed. He's surprised, I think, and he sounds so warm and seductive even. My breath hitches and I'm flushed. I'm suddenly convinced that Catherine is staring at me, her mouth wide open, and I dart into the kitchen to avoid her unwanted scrutiny. We'd like to go ahead with the photo shoot for the article. Breathe, Anna, breathe. My lungs drag in a hasty breath. Tomorrow, if that's okay. Where would it be convenient for you, sir? I can almost hear his Sphinx-like smile through the phone. I'm staying in Healthman in Portland. Shall we say 9:30 in the morning tomorrow? Okay, we'll see you there. I'm all gushing and breathing like a child, not a grown woman who can vote and drink legally in the state of Washington. I look forward to it, Miss Steele. I visualize the wicked gleam in his eyes. How can he make 7 little words hold such tantalizing promise? I hang up. Kate is in the kitchen, and she's staring at me with the look of complete and utter consternation on her face. Anastasia Rose Steele, you like him. You never seen or heard you so affected by anyone before. You're actually blushing. Okay, you know I blush all the time. It's an occupational hazard for me. Don't be ridiculous, I snapped. She blinked at me with surprise. I rarely have hissy fits, and I briefly relent. I just find him intimidating, that's all. Ethan, that figures, muttered Kate. I'll give the manager a call and negotiate a space for the shoot. I'll make supper. Then I need to study. I can't hide my irritation with her as I open one of the cupboards to make supper. I am restless that night, tossing and turning, dreaming of the smoky gray eyes, coveralls, long legs, long fingers, and dark, unexplored places. I wake twice in the night, my heart pounding. Oh, I'm going to look just great tomorrow. With so little sleep, I scold myself and punch my pillow and try to settle. The Heathman is nestled in the heart of downtown Portland. Its impressive brownstone edifice was completed just in time for the crash of the late 1920s. Jose Travis and I are traveling in my Beetle, and Kate in her CLK, since we all can't fit in my car. Travis is Jose's friend, and Gossiper here is to help out with the lighting. Kate has managed to acquire the use of a room at the Heathman free of charge for the morning, exchange for credit in the article. When she explains at the reception that we are here to photograph Christian Grey, CEO, we are instantly upgraded to a suite. Just a regular size suite. However, as apparently Mr. Grey is already occupying the largest one in the building. And Oberkeen Market executive shows up. Shows us up to the suite. He's terribly young and very nervous for some reason. I suspect Kate's beauty and commanding manner disarms him because he's putty in her hands. The room was elegant, understated, and furnished. It's 9. We have half hour to set up. Kate is in full flow. Jose, I think we'll shoot against this wall. Do you agree? She doesn't wait for his response. Travis clears the chairs. Anna, could you ask housekeeping to bring up some refreshments and let Gray know where we are? Yes, mistress. She is so domineering. I roll my eyes, but I'm told. Half an hour later, Christian Grey walks into the sleep. Holy crap, he's wearing a white shirt open at the collar and gray flannel pants that hang from his hips. His unruly hair is still damp from the shower. My mouth goes dry looking at him. He's so frickin' hot. Gray is followed up to the suite by a man in his mid-30s, all buzz cut and stubble, in a sharp, dark gray suit and tie, who stands silently in the corner. His hazel eyes watch us impassively. Miss Steele, we meet again. Gray extends his hand, and I shake it, blinking rapidly. Oh my, he really is quite. As I touch his hand, I'm aware that the delicious current running right through me, lighting me up, making me blush. I'm sure my erratic breathing must be audible. Mr. Gray, this is Catherine, I muttered, waving a hand towards Kate, who comes forward looking at him squarely in the eye. The tenacious Miss K, how do you do? He gives her a small smile, looking genuinely amused. I trust you're feeling better. Anastasia said you were unwell last week. I'm fine, thank you, Mr. Gray. She shakes his hand firmly without batting an eyelid. I remember myself that Kate has been to the best private schools in Washington. Her family has money, and she's grown up confident and sure of her place in the world. She doesn't take any crap. I'm in awe of her. Thank you for taking the time to do this. She gives him a polite and professional smile. It's a pleasure, he answers, turning his gaze on me, and I flush again. Damn it! This is Jose Rodriguez, our photographer. I say, grinning at Jose, who smiles with affection back at me. His eyes are cool when he looks from me to Gray. Mr. Gray, he nods. Mr. Rodriguez, Gray expression changes too as he praises Jose. Where would you like me, Gray asked. His tone sounds vaguely threatening, but Catherine is not about to let Jose run the show. Mr. Gray, if you would sit here, please. Be careful of the lighting cables. And then we'll do a few standing here. She directs him to the chair against the wall. Travis switches on the light, momentarily blinding Gray, and mutters an apology. When Travis and I stand back and watch as Jose proceeds to snap away, he takes several pictures, handheld, asking Gray to turn this way, and then to move his arm and put it down, up and down again. Moving the tripod, Jose takes several more, while Gray sits and poses patiently and naturally for about 20 minutes. My wishes come true. I can stand and admire Gray from not so far. Twice our eyes lock, and I have to tear myself away from his cloudy gaze. Enough sitting, Catherine wades in again. Standing, Mr. Gray, she asks. He stands and Travis scurries in to remove the chair. The shutter of Jose's Nikon starts clicking again. I think we have enough, Jose announces 5 minutes later. Great, says Kate. Thank you again, Mr. Gray. She shakes his hand, as does Jose. I look forward to reading the article, Miss K, murmured Gray, and turns to me, standing by the door. Will you walk with me, Miss Steele, he asks. Sure, I say, completely thrown. I glance anxious. Damn, book's got me flustered. I glance anxiously at Kate, who shrugs at me. I notice Jose scowling behind her. Good day to all you, says Gray, and he opens the door, standing aside to allow me out first. Holy hell, what was that about? What does he want? I pause in the hotel corridor, fidgeting nervously as Gray emerges from the room, followed by Mr. Buzzcut in a shirt suit. I'll call you Taylor, he murmurs to Buzzcut. Taylor wanders back to the corridor and Gray turns his burning gray gaze at me. Crap. Have I done something wrong? I wonder if you'd like to join me for coffee this morning. My heart slams in my mouth. A date? Christian Gray is asking me out on a date? He's asking me if I want a coffee. Maybe he thinks I haven't woken up yet. My subconscious whines at me in a sneering mood again. I clear my throat, trying to control my nerves. I have to drive everyone home, I murmured apologetically, twisting my hands and fingers in front of me. Taylor, he calls, making me jump. Taylor, who's been retreating down the corridor, turns his head back towards us. Are they based at the university? Gray asked, his voice soft and inquiring. I nod, too stunned to speak. Taylor can take them. He's my driver. We have a large 4x4 here, so he'll be able to take the equipment too. Mr. Gray, Taylor asks when he reaches us, giving nothing away. Please, can you drive the photographer, his assistant, and Miss K back home? Certainly, sir, Taylor replies. There, now you can join me for coffee. Gray smiles. If it's a done deal. I frown. Mr. Gray, this really... Look, Taylor doesn't have to drive them home. I flash a brief look at Taylor, who remains impassive. I'll swap vehicles with Kate if you give me a moment. Gray smiles, a dazzling, unguarded, natural, all teeth showing, glorious smile. Oh my. He opens the door of the suite so I can go in. I scoot around him to re-enter the room, finding Miss K deep in discussion with Jose. Anna, I think he definitely likes you, she says with no preamble whatsoever. Jose glares at me with disapproval. But I don't trust him, she adds. I raise my hand up in all hopes that she'll stop talking. By some miracle, she does. Kate, if you take Wanda, can I take your car? Why? Christian Grey has asked me to go to coffee with him. Her mouth pops open, speechless. Kate, I savor the moment. She grabs me by the arm and drags me into the bedroom that's off the living area of the suite. Anna, there's something about him. Her tone is warm. He's gorgeous, I agree. But I think he's dangerous, especially for someone like you. What do you mean, someone like me? I demanded, a little irritated. I flush. Kate, it's just coffee. I'm starting my exams this week and I need to study, so I won't be long. She purses her lips as if considering my request. Finally, she fishes her car keys out of her pocket and hands them to me, and I hand her mine. I'll see you later. Don't be long, or I'll send out a search and rescue. Thanks, I hug her. I emerge from the suite to find Christian Grey waiting, leaning against the wall, looking like a male model in pose of some glassy high-end magazine. Okay, let's do coffee, I murmured, flushing to a beet red. He grins. After you, Miss Steele. He stands up straight, holding his hand out for me to go first. I make my way down the corridor, my knees shaky, my stomach full of butterflies, and my heart and my mouth thumping in a dramatic, uneven beat. I am going to have coffee with Christian Grey. I hate coffee. We walk together down a wide hotel corridor to the elevators. What should I say to him? My mind is suddenly paralyzed with apprehension. What are we going to talk about? What on earth do we even have in common? His soft, warm voice settles me from my reverie. How long have you known Miss K? Well, that's an easy question for starters. Since our freshman year, she's a good friend. He replies noncommittally. What is he thinking at the elevators? He presses the call button, and the bell rings almost immediately. Door slides open, revealing a young couple in a passionate embrace inside. Surprised and embarrassed, they jump apart, staring guiltily in every direction but ours. Grey and I step into the elevator. I am struggling to maintain a straight face, so I gaze down at the floor, feeling my cheeks turning pink. When I peek at Grey through my lashes, he has a hint of a smile on his lips, and it's very hard to tell. The young couple say nothing as we travel to the first floor in embarrassed silence. We don't even have bland pipe elevator music to distract us. The door opens, and to much surprise, Grey takes my hand, clasping it with his long, cool fingers. I feel the current run through me, and already my rapid heartbeat accelerates. As he leads me out of the elevator, we can hear the suppressed giggles of the couple erupting behind us. Grey grins. What is it about elevators? He muttered. We cross the expanse, bustling lobby of the hotel towards the entrance. But Grey avoids the revolving doors, and I wonder if that's because he'd have to let go of my hand. Outside, it's a mild May Sunday. The sun is shining down and the traffic is light. Mr. Grey turns left and strolls to the corner where we wait for the crosswalk to change. He's still holding my hand in the street. Christian Grey is holding my hand. No one has ever held my hand. I feel giddy and tingly all over. I attempt to smoother this ridiculous grin that threatens to split my face in two. I'm trying to be cool. Anna, my subconscious, implores me. The green man appears, and we're off again. We walk 4 blocks before we reach the Portland Coffee House, where Gray releases me to hold the door open so I can step inside. Why don't you choose a table while I get the drinks? What would you like? He politely asked. I'll have an English breakfast tea. Bag out. He raises his eyebrows. No coffee? I'm not keen on coffee. He smiles. Okay, bag out tea, sugar. For a moment, I'm stunned, thinking it's endearment, but fortunately, my subconscious kicks in with pierced lips. No, stupid, do you take sugar? Anything to eat? No, thank you. I shake my head. And he heads to the counter. I gaze at him from behind my lashes, and he stands in line waiting to be served. I could watch him all day. He's tall, broad-shouldered, and slim, and the way those pants hang from his hips, oh my. Once or twice he runs his long, graceful fingers through his now dry but disorderly hair. I like to do that. The thought comes unbidden into my mind, and my face flames. I bit my lip, and I stare down at my hands again, not liking where my onward thoughts were headed. Penny for your thoughts. Gray is back, startling me. I go crimson. I was just thinking about running my fingers through your hair and wondering if you would feel soft to the touch. I shake my head. He's carrying a tray, which he sets down on the small, round birch table, and he hands me a cup and a saucer and a small teapot and the side plate bearing a lone tea bag labeled Twin English Breakfast, my favorite. He has a coffee that bears a wonderful leaf pattern imprinted in milk. How did they do that? I wondered idly. He also bought himself a blueberry muffin, putting the tray aside. He sits opposite from me and crosses his long legs. He looks so uncomfortable. He looks so comfortable, so at ease with his body. I envy him. Here's me, all gawky and uncoordinated, barely able to get from A to B, falling flat on my face. Your thoughts, he prompts me. This is my favorite tea. My voice is quiet, breathless. I simply can't believe I'm sitting opposite of Christian Grey in a coffee shop in Portland. He frowns. He knows I'm hiding something. I pop the tea bag into the teapot and almost immediately fish out again with my teaspoon. As I place the used tea bag on the side plate, he cocks his head, gazing quizzically at me. I like my tea black and weak, I mutter as an explanation. I see. Is he your boyfriend? Whoa, what? The photographer? Jose Rodriguez. I laugh, nervous but curious. What gave him that impression? No, Jose's just a good friend of mine. That's all. Why did you think he was my boyfriend? The way you smiled at him, and he at you. His gaze holds mine. He's so unnerving. I want to look away, but I'm caught spellbound. He's more like family, I whispered. Gray nods, seemingly satisfied with my response, and glances down at his blueberry muffin. His long fingers definitely peel back the paper, and I watch fascinated. You want some? He asked, and that amused secret smile is back. No, thanks, I frowned, and stared down at my hands again. And the boy I met yesterday at the store, He's not your boyfriend? No, Paul's just a friend. I told you yesterday. Oh, this is getting silly. Why do you ask? You seem nervous around men. Holy crap, that's personal. I'm just nervous around you, Gray. I find you intimidating. I flush scarlet, but mentally pat myself on the back for my candor and gaze at my hands again. I hear his sharp intake of breath. You find me intimidating, he nods. You're very honest. Please don't look down. I like to see your face. Oh, I glance at him, and he gives me an encouraging but wry smile. It gives me some sort of clue what you might be thinking, he breathes. You're a mystery, Miss Steele. Mysterious? Me? There's nothing mysterious about me. I think you're very self contained, he murmurs. I am? Wow. How am I managing that? This is bewildering me. Self contained? No way. Especially when you blush, of course. Or except when you blush, of course. Which is often. I just wish I knew what you were blushing about. He pops a small piece of muffin into his mouth and starts to chew it slowly, not taking his eyes off me. And as if I were on cue, I blush. Crap. Do you always make such personal observations? I hadn't realized I was. Have I offended you? He sounded surprised. No, I answered truthfully. Good. But you're very high-handed, he raised an eyebrow. If I'm not mistaken, and he flushes slightly too. I'm used to getting my own way, Anastasia, he murmurs, in all things. I don't doubt that. Why haven't you asked me to call you by your first name? I'm surprised by my audacity. Why has this conversation become so serious? This isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. I can't believe I feel so antagonistic towards him. It's like he's trying to warn me off. The only people who use my given name are my family and a few close friends. That's the way I like it. Oh, he still hadn't said call me Christian. He's a control freak. There's no other explanation. And part of me is thinking maybe it would have been better if Kate had interviewed him. Two control freaks together, plus of course she almost blonde, well, strawberry blonde, like all the women in his office. And she's beautiful. My subconscious reminds me I don't like the idea of Christian and Kate. I take a sip of my tea, and Gray eats another piece of his muffin. Are you an only child? He asks. Whoa, that he keeps changing direction. Yes. Tell me about your parents. Why does he want to know all this? It's so dull. My mom lives in Georgia with her new husband Bob. My stepdad lives in Montesano. Your father? My father died when I was a baby. I'm sorry, he mutters, and a fleeting trouble looks across his face. I don't remember him. And your mother remarried? I snort. You could say that, he frowns at me. You're not giving much away, are you? He says, dryly rubbing his chin in deep thought. Neither are you. You interviewed me once already, and you collected quite probing questions then. He smirks at me. Holy shit, he's remembering the gay question again. I'm mortified. In years to come, I know I need intense therapy to not feel this embarrassed every time I recall the moment. I start babbling about my mother, anything to block that memory. My mom is wonderful. She's an incurable romantic. She's currently on her fourth husband. Christian raises an eyebrow in surprise. I miss her, I continue. She has Bob now. I just hope she can keep an eye on, or he can keep an eye on her and pick up the pieces of her harebrained schemes when they don't go as planned. I smile fondly. I haven't seen my mom for so long. Christian watches me intently, taking occasional sips of his coffee. I really shouldn't look at his mouth. It's unsettling. Do you get along with your stepfather? Your stepfather? Of course. I grew up with him. He's the only father I know. And what's he like? Ray, he's techie turned. That's it? Gray asked, surprised. I shrugged. What does this man expect? My life story? Taciturn like his stepdaughter, Gray prompts. I refrain from rolling my eyes at him. He likes soccer, European soccer especially, and bowling, and fly fishing, and making furniture. He's a carpenter, ex-army, I say. You live with him? Yes. My mom met husband number 3 when I was 15, and I stayed with Ray. He frowns as if he doesn't understand. You didn't want to live with your mom? He asked. This is really none of his business. Husband number 3 lived in Texas. My home was in Manifesto, and my mom was newly married, and I stopped. My mom never asked or never talked to husband number 3. Where's Gray going with this? This is none of his business. 2 can play at this game. Tell me about your parents, I ask. He shrugs. My dad's a lawyer. My mom's a pediatrician. They live in Seattle. Oh, that is a fluent upbringing. And I wonder about a successful couple who adopted 3 kids, and one of them turns into a beautiful man and takes on the business world and conquers it single-handedly. What drove him to be that way? His folks must be proud. What do your siblings do? Elliot is in construction. My little sister is in Paris studying cooking under some renowned French chef. His eyes cloud with irritation. He doesn't want to talk about his family or himself. I hear Paris is lovely, I murmured. Why doesn't he want to talk about his family? Is it because he's adopted? It's beautiful. Have you been? He asked, his irritation forgotten. I've never left mainland USA. So now we're back into banalities. What is he hiding? Would you like to go to Paris, I squeak? This has thrown me. Who wouldn't want to go to Paris? Of course, I conceded. But it's England that I really want to visit. He cocks his head to one side, running his index finger across his lower lip. Oh my, because I blink rapidly, concentrated. Steel? It's the home of Shakespeare, Austen, and the Bronte sisters. Tom Hardy. I like to see the places that inspire those people to write such wonderful books. All this talk of literary greats reminded me that I should be studying. I glanced at my watch. I better go. I have to study. For your exams? Yes, they start Tuesday. Where's Miss K's car? In the hotel parking lot. I'll walk you back. Thank you for the tea, Mr. Gray. He smiles. His odd and whopping big great smile. You're welcome, Anastasia. It's my pleasure. Come, he commands, and I hold his hand. I take it, bemused, and follow him out of the coffee shop. We stroll back to the hotel, and I like to say it's consensibly silent. He looks unusually calm, collecting himself as, for me, I'm desperately trying to gauge how our little coffee morning has gone. I feel like I've been interviewed for a job, but I'm not sure what for. You always wear jeans? He asks out of the blue. Mostly, he nods. We're back at the intersection across the road from the hotel. My mind is reeling. What an odd question, and I'm aware our time together is limited. That is it. This was it, and I've completely blown it. I know. Perhaps he has someone. Do you have a girlfriend? I blurted out. Holy crap, I just said that out loud. His lips quirk up, half a smile. He peers down at me. No, Anastasia. I don't do the girlfriend thing, he says softly. Oh, what does that mean? He's not gay? Oh, maybe he is. And he must have lied to me in his interview. And for a moment, I think he's going to follow it up with some explanation, some clue to this cryptic statement, but he doesn't. I have to go. I have to try to reassure my thoughts. I have to get away from him. I walk forward and I trip, stumbling headlong into the road. Shit, Anna! Gray cries. He tugs the hand that he's holding so hard that I fall back against him just as the cyclist whips past, narrowly missing me, heading the wrong way up the one-way street. All of this happens so fast. 1 minute I'm falling, and the next I'm in his arms, and he's holding me tightly across his chest. I inhale his clean, wholesome scent. He smells of freshly laundered linens and some expensive body wash. It's intoxicating. I inhale deeply. Are you okay? He's whispered. He has one arm around me, clasping to me, while his fingers, on the other hand, softly trace my face, gently probing, examining me. His thumb brushes my lower lip, and his breath hitches. He's staring into my eyes, and I hold his anxious, burning gaze for a moment, or maybe it's forever. And eventually my attention is drawn to his beautiful mouth, and for the first time in 21 years, I want to be kissed. I want to feel his mouth on mine. All right, we're going to end it there. I've been Noob Solo. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out.